And good morning. Welcome to a Tadpoll for Thursday morning. We have another busy one as usual. We're going to be talking about different things. First, the big musical that's coming up here, The Wizard of Oz. We have some cast members here. Maybe we're going to get a song. Maybe so we'll see. The Wizard of Oz. And, of course, Sarah will be kind of filling us in on how things are going there. Mike Gower is going to stop by to talk about this week the Kansas Supreme Court came down with their ruling on school finance, and they kind of wishy-washy on that. We'll look at that a little bit. We invited Ken Rogers to come on, representative from this area, but he was unable to come on. We'll try to get him on next Thursday. Also, we'll be talking about this Sunday, One Nation Under God, Heartland, there at the west side of Vague, where they have a great patriotic program. That's Sunday evening. We'll be talking with some people on that. Then a little later on, Prairie View is going to have some food over there and the fireworks. And then we'll be talking with Andy Kenny about the wrestling camp coming up. And someone told me last night they're going to be wrestling on the bricks. I hope to put the pads down before they start the wrestling, but that's coming up here. So it's a very, very busy morning. And, of course, we do appreciate the fact that the sponsors make it possible for us to come in here every Thursday morning and render something special on. We do a sports talk on a Saturday morning, and of course all winter long we do that every Saturday morning from next door at the Thursday Break. Well, Sarah's with us again, and Sarah, one week closer. How are things going?
They're going well. We've got lots and lots of painting that still needs to be done. We built this really big, fantastic set, and now we just have to paint it all. So that's quite a job. That takes a lot of time, but fortunately we have lots of great volunteers who come in and help make that happen. And costumes are coming right along, and choreography is coming along, and so finally all the pieces are coming together, and it's really starting to look and sound amazing. So I'm very excited, and I hope that everybody is biting at the bit to come and buy tickets and to come see the show, and it's going to be very good.
Well, I'll clue you in right now. I'm a member of the Social Arts Academy. I'll be there all 3 times.
Awesome.
Because that's one of my favorites. One of my favorite things, and have an opportunity to see local talent doing that. What's been the most difficult? Is that a tough question?
I would say probably the most difficult thing about doing a community theater musical is managing the sheer number of cast and crew. We have 49 cast members 49, plus crew, and we do have a dog. We do have a Toto.
Now this is what I'm... So, alive, it's not going to be...
Yep, alive. Her name is Scarlett Jane, and she is in the program.
Does she come to the name of Toto, though? If you say Toto?
Yep. Well,
really?
she'll probably be on a leash most of the
sure,
production.
I understand that.
Because there's a lot going on in that room at that time.
I know there is, right?
But no, there's a lot of people and a lot of things going on in terms of different scenes and different actors and so just managing the communication for all of those people is probably the hardest part.
Every time I watch that movie, I'm going to keep track how many times they mention in Kansas. And they're not in Kansas anymore. That's a great line there,
Right.
Do you one night you do maybe act, or how do you with that many people you can't do everything every night?
So we start, the first 2 weeks are music rehearsal only.
Okay.
So what we do is we schedule in 45-minute blocks, and we'll schedule a song. And so during those first 2 weeks, we work on just learning that song. And so we'll spend, 4 sessions a night, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and we'll have an opportunity to go over every song at least once, and most of the songs we'll get to go over twice. And then we move into choreography, and so after they've learned the music, then they start to learn the dances that go with that music. Okay. And then we go into blocking, which is where we begin to determine where people come in and where they go out and where they should stand and all of those things as they read their lines and sing their songs. And we kind of go through all of that, and everybody makes notes about what needs to happen. And then we begin to run the scenes in order, because before the first several weeks when we were doing music and choreography and blocking, we might run the scenes completely out of order, because we might put all of the Munchkin scenes together, and we might put all of the Winky scenes together, and all of the so that we can block it in a way that if someone is in a scene for 30 seconds, that they don't have to come just for that
Sure,
30
yeah, I
seconds,
see,
that
yeah.
they can rehearse all of their scenes at one time. That's the goal. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's what we shoot for. And then as we begin to run scenes in order, then all of those things that maybe didn't quite make sense before will start to make sense. Oh yes, we have to exit here because we turn around and enter from here, or we have to grab this, and so then it all begins to make sense. And so we're at this stage now where we finished all of our blocking, and we're currently running all of the scenes in order, and we're actually right in the middle of technical week right now. And so what that means is all of our actors have had a chance to go through all of the things that they need to know to do this show well. But our technical crew still has to figure out microphone levels and changes, and getting the music to run through the house properly, and getting monitors set and lights and all of those technical aspects that we haven't messed with before. So we're currently in technical rehearsal, and actors will tell you they have done several scenes this week in the dark, because we'll have lights on, and then we'll need to make a change, and all the lights will go out, and we'll say just keep going while we work out.
You got the scenery all figured out and everything? There was
Yep.
a lot of painting on that, though.
Yep,
Yes,
lots of painting still to do, but we've got things figured out.
Okay. Oh, but it's amazing because it is such a big production, and you keep track. Are you there about every night, or how?
Just about.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I try and take my mini vacations 2 days a week.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but 5 days a week I'm at the Huck Boyd working on things.
Okay, who do you bring? Let's talk to the Scarecrow first.
Sure. I brought our Munchkin Mayor,
Okay.
Hannah Kennedy is with us, and our Scarecrow, Jeremy Ford, is with us.
Okay, Scarecrow. Let's talk to you because you have to go to a basketball camp or something.
Yep.
All right. What are you in school? Oh, great. What were you?
Straight A's.
Do what?
He is a straight A student, and you're going to be a freshman.
Freshman, yeah.
Freshman. Yeah, that's
Sorry.
okay. Straight A. Well, that's
Yep.
good.
Yep,
Well,
yep.
see, a straight A student, but you got to get a brain now. You got to get a brain for it, don't you? Okay. How did you have to end up being the Scarecrow?
Well, I did the play Beauty and the Beast 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the theater. And just this last year's The Little Mermaid, I didn't get to be in that one. I just didn't go to auditions.
Yeah.
And my family really does enjoy The Wizard of Oz. It's their favorite movie.
Well.
I figured, why not? Might as well try out. And I originally tried out for The Lion. And Brian got that spot, and I guess you thought I did really well, so they put me in Scarecrow.
Well, you're tall and kind of gangly, which the Scarecrow is. What's the hardest thing about being the Scarecrow?
Probably falling down.
Really? Yeah,
All
do you
time.
fall down
Yeah.
just like in the movie?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Are you loose jointed, or are you kind of out there doing your choreography?
Just throwing it all around.
Okay. And was it hard to learn the song? Now you're doing two. Now there's one that's not in the movie, the Jitterbug.
Yeah.
It's not in the movie. How about that? Do you like doing that?
I do. I think it's probably one of my favorite dances,
Really?
one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
So
All right. Is it like the old time Jitterbug? Is that? You don't.
I'm not going to tell you everything, Dad.
Okay, all right. I've seen it. I know what it's got to be. Okay. Would you? Well, your music is it recorded, or do you have live music behind you there?
We have a recording of a live orchestra.
Okay, that's what.
So we do have. It sounds like a live
Sure,
orchestra, but
right.
it's all recorded.
I understand, and that's one way you can really improve on everything. You don't have to worry about having someone from the orchestra there all the time.
Right.
And it's done a lot. It's even done on Broadway.
Yep.
People don't know it, but it's even a lot of that stuff. Okay.
It's really hard to find. Essentially a whole orchestra.
Sure, right, yeah, and that's great. All right, would you like to do a number for us this morning, Scarecrow?
Yeah.
If I only had a brain.
Yeah.
Okay, now you got the music.
I do.
Okay, so all right, let's go.
Sat a scarecrow swinging on a pole to a blackbird sitting on a fence. Oh, the Lord gave me a soul, but forgot to give me common sense. Said the scarecrow to be pleasing just to reason out the reason of the wishness and the wineness and the whence. If I had an ounce of common sense, I would while away the hours, confamined with the flowers, consultant with the rain. and my head I'd be scratching while my pots were busy etching if I only had a brain. Would ravel heavy riddle for any individual in trouble or in pain. With his heart you'd be thinking you could be another Lincoln if I only had a brain. Oh, I could tell you why the ocean's near the shore. He could think of things he's never thought before. And then I'd sit and think some more. I would not be just enough in my head all full of stuff, in my heart all full of pain. Then I'd dance and be merry, life would be a ding-a-dairy if I only had a brain. Oh, I could tell you why the ocean's near the shore. I could think of things I've never thought before. And then he'd sit and think some more. Gosh, it would be awful pleasing to reason out the reason for things I can't explain. Then perhaps I'd deserve it and be even worthy of ya if I only had a brain. If I only had a brain.
Great. All right, now you can see that coming up. Dates on that. Let's be sure we get the dates.
July 13th, 14th, and 15th.
It's a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday
right.
afternoon, right?
That's right.
Okay, you can go out every day and say it. And support. Just great that we have something like this. Number one, we always talk about the facility to have it in and all the great talent we have around here. We really are blessed to have this, and of course the talent. That's great. I can't wait to see it. Do you lose a straw like they do, and do they have to come stuff the straw back in you and everything? You lose some straw?
Right? Yeah.
Okay, you lose some straw. All right. So what's your favorite part of the whole thing?
I think my favorite part's just being with when everyone's together, just having a lot of fun on stage.
Okay. Do you have a yellow brick road? Are they going to have a yellow brick road for you to walk on? Are they going to have one?
Yep, we're working on it. It's one of the things that has to be painted.
Now you're going to paint that on the stage.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Jim might be watching, so I won't say yes.
Okay, I think it's just great that you would do something like that, and it sounds good. You know, he's got it down. All right. Well,
I know, right?
yeah.
We have so many talented young people that are that are part of this production. It's great.
Okay, I'll let you go. But we'll look forward to seeing you that weekend. That's Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and just keep up the good work. It's really good that you do something like that. Fine. Thank you.
All right.
Go to basketball.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hannah. Now she is the Hannah Kennedy. Mm-hmm.
She's the Munchkin mayor.
The mayor. Now you're. Do you do something? Okay. Okay. Hannah. What's your part mainly?
Just basically, I have some lines as the mayor,
Mm-hmm.
and I do some singing for mayor too.
Okay. So do you have where to make the hat and all that?
I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna put Hannah in a hat because I don't want to hide her pretty
Sure,
face.
right, yeah.
But she's of course in charge of all of the little munchkins,
Sure.
and she does a good job of making sure that the munchkins know that we have to stay official, and like if we call in the coroner and
Right,
make
yeah.
sure that the witch is in fact dead,
Yeah.
and she and she gives everybody permission, okay, that you can celebrate now and things like that, and.
Right.
And she shows Dorothy, the yellow brick road and all of those things. So
Follow the
she's-
yellow brick road, right? Follow the yellow brick road. You do that? Can you do it for us?
Like from what part?
Well, I don't know. What did she do that to music too, or?
She does, but she's not the only one that sings.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, follow the yellow brick road, right? And then Dorothy and they all get into it. Then they go follow the others, unwind and go out that way, right? Right. Okay. What grade are you in, Hannah?
I'm gonna be a 6th grader.
Okay, 6th grader. You'll be going in the 6th grade. Okay, what made you? And I know you have a musical background, your family, and everything. What made you decide that you wanted to do this? Have you been in any of the other productions?
Yes.
Were you in Beauty and the Beast? Okay. And last year, were you in the, what was the Mermaid last
Little Mermaid, yeah.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. Were you in that too?
Yeah.
What's been your favorite role? What were you in Beauty? What was your job in Beauty?
I was a salt shaker.
Okay.
That. And I was one of the wolves
Okay.
and one of the townsfolk.
Okay. And so how many munchkins do you have?
We have 20 munchkins.
Wow. All about the same age and everything?
Yeah.
You kind
I
of...
think our youngest munchkin is 4. And I won't tell you how old our oldest munchkin
Sure.
is, but I think our tallest munchkin is like 5'3".
Wow, okay. And I saw the other day, the one of them died.
Oh, right, from the
last,
movie, yeah.
The last one, I think, died, 94 or something like that. So, anyway, have you had a good time doing this?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you know the story about Wizard of Oz before? Oh, you knew it? You'd seen it before?
Yeah, I have the movie at my house.
That's good. Do you watch it once in a while?
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. Did you ask them to watch it to maybe kind of get how you want it, or do you want them to do it their own way?
I did not ask all of my cast to watch the movie. I told them that if they were familiar with it, that was fine, and if they weren't, it was okay. I think there can be pros and cons
Sure.
to knowing it and not knowing it, and so I just kind of left it alone, and and kind of just asked them to come to rehearsal and learn what we were teaching, and and to do what it is that we were envisioning for our show, because clearly there are things that happened in the movie that we are not going to be able to replicate.
Sure, right,
and
yeah.
things that didn't happen in the movie that we're going to do.
Right.
So we just kind of left it with a...
Well, that makes sense because this gives each one the way to do it that they want to do it, not
Sure.
the way they see it on the movies and
Right.
try to emulate that,
Yeah.
try to do that. But that's
Now, I know that Brian, who plays the lion,
Mm-hmm.
has done a lot of searching on YouTube and finding other stage productions
Okay.
of this show, so that he can kind of get a reference for the way that they portray the lion and the way
Sure.
that they use the stage and things like that. And so I think there's some value in in looking at some other other stage productions to see how they've done things, so that you can get an idea for, I like that, or that would work for me, or maybe not so much these things. So that's been helpful, and I think it's been beneficial for for the way that they come together.
see, one of the songs I mentioned is Lollipop Them.
That's part of it, yeah. They they do Ding Dong the Witch is Dead,
Right, yeah.
and they do Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and part of the songs that they sing will be like the Lullaby League and the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah. So
So-
you really enjoyed. So, but you're in charge of the Munchkins, right? I mean, you keep things going. Well, that's neat. I'm glad to see that you got. So 6th grade, so you were actually on the stage in the 4th grade, right? Was that your first production, Beauty and the Beast? That the first thing you did?
Actually, my first production was Susical.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she was in Susical
Oh,
before that.
that's
even.
right. Susical. Well, how old
So
were you
3rd
then?
grade.
Yeah. Wow. You're just getting a regular
Yeah.
stage presence there, aren't you?
She's got quite the resume by now.
Really? Yeah, I know it. Yeah. By the time you get out of high school, they'll go right to Broadway. Do you want to do that? What do you want to? That's not a fair question. You have got a long way to go before you have to decide what you're going to do the rest of your life. But in the back of your mind, would you say, it might not be a bad thing to be on Broadway?
What's out? No.
I should have asked that. But it's nice to know that you're doing things and that we have the people that are involved. I think that's really great that we can come together and do that. Okay, well, I'll be watching for the mayor. And I hope you get Dorothy started off in the right way, the Yellow Brick Road. Okay.
Yep, she does a good job.
Very good. Okay. You going to come back next week?
Sure.
Bring some more?
Yeah, we'll see if we can't get some of our cast that are currently on missions trip or
that's right.
cheer camp or all those other
there-
things. It's busy summer.
A bunch of them went to
Houston.
right? Are they gone? Are they gone?
Yep, they're in Houston right now.
I know Theo's down there. I know
Yep.
he's down there.
Yeah, so Theo and our Uncle Henry / the guard is with them, and Andrea, so our Aunt M / Glenda,
Yeah.
and Dorothy is at cheer camp right now.
Well, okay.
And the lion is at work.
Well, how do you keep track of everyone?
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but it took me a long time to get everyone's name right.
Sure.
I think we have a family, the Crables. I said their name wrong. I don't even know how many times, but finally got it right, and I'm so proud of myself.
Okay. Well, Hannah, we hope that you have and I'll tell you break a leg. It's a long time from now. Do you know where that came from?
I think
Break
you
a
told
leg.
me before, but I don't recall. So tell me again.
Well, as part of the stages, there's a leg that has something to do with the curtain,
Okay.
or it holds the curtain up, and they would break sometimes, so break a leg is what that is. That doesn't really mean your
Sure.
leg. It means break a leg, but I did Google it. There are about 4 or 5 different versions of where that came from. That's the
Okay.
one I had heard though.
All right.
But just
Some good theater trivia.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you, Hannah. We hope that things go well. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds very good. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
And things are going well. Just keep
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
When's your dress rehearsal?
We will have a dress rehearsal without makeup on Wednesday, whatever that date is, and then Thursday we're doing full dress rehearsal with makeup.
It's a makeup. That's another. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask that. There's a lot of makeup.
There
Isn't
is
it?
a good deal of makeup, and there's a concern about making sure that we get the timing right. Getting them into makeup, we have plenty of time. Getting them out of makeup and
Okay.
back into their Kansas
Sure.
clothing
Oh,
will
right.
be
Yeah,
a bigger problem.
Right.
So that will be a challenge that we
Yeah.
need to contend with, but we'll work it out.
In the movie, they can do that the next day.
Yeah.
But you got to.
In the movie, they could
They've gotta-
record it before they ever
gotta
did
be
any
there, and
animal
the
scenes.
balloon goes off, and
Yep.
with the wizard, and then you turn right around, and Dorothy's waking up, and,
Yep.
and they're all
Yeah.
in Kansas clothes.
Movie magic.
Yeah. Well, great.
We have to apply stage magic.
Sure.
So
There's another trivia thing.
Yeah.
The guy that played, let's see, the Tin Man.
okay,
They had to be careful about. Are you aware of that about painting?
because of his makeup. Yeah.
Because of makeup, because his body wasn't breathing
Right.
right, and so they have to leave some area open so your body can breathe because of that tin,
Sure,
that stuff,
sure.
that aluminum stuff for paint what they put on,
Yeah.
And the Tin Man wasn't the original one. There was another one in there, and
Right.
he had trouble with it, I guess. Okay.
Right, and they had to make some changes in the in
Yeah.
the makeup. Fortunately, we won't use the same kind of makeup, so that shouldn't be a problem
Sure.
for us.
Yeah. Right.
And we're making an effort because we know that it will be such a challenge to get all that makeup off. For example, we're going to have our Tin Man in gloves, and our lion will be in gloves,
That makes sense.
so that we don't have to,
Sure.
to try and mess with their hands. And so we'll just, for the Tin Man, he will have, a small portion of his face that will need to
Sure.
be painted.
Yeah.
And the same is true for the lion. Now, I'm excited about our costumes. Again, we're making those costumes from scratch,
Yes.
and our costumers have done an amazing job putting those things together. But I've got to tell you, those costumes are going to be so hot.
Oh yes. Yeah.
They will be hot under normal circumstances, and then you get them under stage lights to do, a 2-hour show, and they're going to be very, very hot. But man, they're going to look good.
Okay. Well, now, did you have from scratch? Did you have some source that you could maybe get patterns to do this, or did it's all from scratch?
I think So here are some of our backstage secrets. I think
Oh, well, you don't-
no, it's okay. The Tin Man. I believe that his costume is made off of the pattern for scrub tops, like that nurses might wear.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so we had to make some modifications to make sure the shoulder was in the right place and the sleeve was all, I think that like they've literally made 2 Tin Man tops, in an effort to get it all fitting the way that they want it to. And for the lion, I think that they took a pajama pattern and modified that.
Okay.
But they are using a fur,
That-
and so it's very
Wow.
and they made it very oversized for so that it would look the way that we want it to look
sure.
for the lion.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
we had some patterns to start with, but there have been some some kind of extreme modifications to to make them do what we want them to do.
Okay, good. Well, one of the Thursdays, I want you to bring someone that's doing the Ori-Or.
Okay, a Winky? You want to talk to a Winky?
One of
All
the
right.
soldiers. Bring a soldier,
Okay,
okay?
I will.
Okay. We don't know one out there yet? Okay. Well, what else are we talking about? Have you thought about what you want to do the next time around?
I think Jessica Pugh is hoping to direct next summer. She is shadowing me this summer so that she can learn what it takes. And we kind of started talking about this late last year because I don't know if we've talked about this before, but preparation for this show began last summer. So
Sure.
so we have to figure out everything we want to build and all the costumes that we want to make, and we have to come up with a budget before the end of the calendar
Sure,
year.
yeah.
So for next summer's production, we're going to have to start working on that as soon as the show is over. So we have to start thinking about what do we want to build for set, how much is that going to cost, what are we going to need for costumes, how many people do we want to have in the show, like everything that you need for the show, and we have to put together a budget, and then submit budget for for grant requests, that kind of thing, because we have so many generous foundations
Sure,
that
sure.
continue to make the Arts Council able to do what we do, and so Jessica has been kind of working on those things, and she's our stage manager for this show, so she's getting to jump right in, and she's jumped into the deep end, so she understands the just the costumes and the set building and prop management and getting people where they need to be when they need to be there,
Sure.
and turning the stage and pushing on just different, all of the moving parts of how it comes together, and scheduling rehearsals, and it's the production does not start when the actors audition and show up. I mean, we've had
Sure.
months and months and months of of production preparation that come
Wow.
way before an actor even knows what show we're doing.
People don't realize how much behind
Yeah.
a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah, there are hundreds of hours of preparation that go
Sure.
into that go into a show before we even have auditions.
What made you want to, is he out there yet?
I think he just got here.
Okay, all right. I'll ask one more question. I'll let you
Sure.
go, and I know you got to get back. Your background. Have you always been interested in music and theater and that kind of thing?
It's always been fun, right? And so I'm certainly not formally trained in any of these things, but it's something that I enjoy, and I think the most important part to me is having an opportunity to share theater with young people. So I love having 20 Munchkins in the show.
Oh yeah.
Because and Hannah can tell you that when we started technical rehearsal, I told all of our cast, okay, this is technical rehearsal. There will be problems. It is okay.
Okay.
That we'll have some complications and some kinks, and it will be fine, and we'll work together and we'll work it out. But Hannah has been, she's been since third grade,
Sure.
and clearly, enjoys it. She keeps coming back, so,
Yeah,
and we
that's
love
great.
having her.
That's great.
And all of her friends. But I mean, I want the Hannah Kennedys of our community to grow up, loving theater and loving musicals,
Yeah.
and having something that they can look back at and say that was a great time.
It sure is. That's musical theater is really special.
Yeah.
And when you look at production we've had here in the past, it's amazing.
And they work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they work really hard
Okay,
to learn everything and make it come together. So that's another thing that I love about it, is that we've got all these young people who are willing to come in and spend hours and hours and hours working hard to put together this show, and it's fun, and
I think we mentioned this before, but that was amazing. That Lovewell thing.
yeah.
The amazing how in just 5 days they put together
Mm-hmm.
something and some of the places that they went after here, they know their parts very well. They had to do this. It was amazing out
Sure.
here. They knew their parts, they knew the songs, and
Yep.
that was really an amazing thing that they did. Were you too young to be a?
She was, yeah. She was
okay.
too young to be able to do the Lovewell thing. I'm sure that's something that Hannah would look forward to.
Sure.
I imagine as she gets older, but that's the kind of thing that that we want. I want Hannah to look forward to.
Sure.
To being able to do
Sure.
Lovewell when she gets there, and And just having the confidence to be able to say, I can do that. That's something I want all these kids to walk away with, is the confidence to say, I can do that.
Well, Mayor, we hope things that go well, and we'll look forward to coming. And we'll see you next Thursday morning.
Sounds very good.
Okay,
All right,
thank
we'll
you.
see you. Thanks,
Thank you,
Tad.
Sarah. All right, The Wizard of Oz. As you can tell, that's one of my favorite things all the time. I think we're going to talk. Is Mike out there? We're going to have Mike. Okay, Mike Gower is going to come in a minute. Reminder that the Tadpoll brought to you by all your friends at Farmers State Bank, where interest begins the moment you enter the door. Interest in your member FDIC. Mapes and Miller, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Mid-America Real Estate, providing the best homes in the area for over 40 years. Blossom and Butterflies, making beautiful flowers a part of your life. Sign Solutions, your one-stop sign shop, so much more. Madison Motors, in business for over 70 years, and Rogers Associates, your local trusted choice agency. Mike, thanks for coming in this morning. It's summertime when there's not school. It was all 3 months off. Right?
Well, not at my office anyway.
Okay. Well, reason why I wanted, we'll talk about some other things. The reason I wanted you to come on, Monday, was it Monday afternoon? The Kansas Supreme Court comes up and says, the legislature did this, but and I'm not quite sure. Just everyone says there's going to be more money, but they need more money. So, what's your take on what the judges did?
The court case has always been about two things: equity and adequacy.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they met the equity part of it, but for adequacy, they're on the right track, but they need to adjust for inflation.
Mm-hmm,
so there was a 5-year plan that does increase money to schools, but they said they needed to adjust that for inflation, and really finally gave a clear path to putting this behind us. Basically saying, if you can adjust for inflation, we'll give you till next June 30th to do that, and then we're done. Let's move on. But this court case was really just a continuation of what was the Montoy case clear back in 2006 that said you need to do this for schools, and that didn't happen. Some people say, well, it's because of the economy and so on and so forth, and so we got back. Now this is called the Gannon case, and anyway, basically trying to say schools were underfunded, and now they're really saying we are on the right track, adjust it for inflation, and let's put this behind us.
Let's talk about maybe 500 more million. Maybe?
Yeah, and so
that figure's bounced around a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but their own study. The legislature put their own study out there and kind of had their own hired gun, and they thought, okay, they're going to say that they've got plenty of money.
Well, that didn't come back. You're very good.
Come back and said you need $2 billion more is what the study said, and so then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're not going to listen to that study, so I obviously I'm going to stick up for schools, but I see the big picture too. Now our roads are getting in a rougher shape. Well, that's because we were robbing the KDOT. We called it. The educators called it the bank of KDOT. Whenever we needed money, they robbed it from there instead of addressing the problem. But I really feel like they've tried to kind of move towards a more cooperation, more education friendly legislature. So I hope that continues.
And there's an election coming up in November that could change.
Oh yeah,
it changed last time. Yeah, it really changed last time.
Sure it did. And so if that, so let's say that happens. Yeah. And it flips, and we're, the new group says we're gonna ignore this. We're not worried about inflation. We've already given you enough money. We don't have enough money to go around. Then in this case won't
Sure,
won't
yeah,
end.
yeah.
You know.
Was there ever any, last year I think it was when the schools were going to close, it couldn't, and there was some said this year, but there really wasn't that big this
Nah.
year.
Because I feel like they made an effort, you
Sure.
know, and so like last year, they had to come back in
Yeah,
with a special session. I feel like they made an effort, and so that didn't seem to be near the threat this year.
sure.
How are you going to do that? Like you mentioned before, that our custodians are working, and my office is working, and then the principal's off and on as well throughout the summer. You're going to chain the door
Sure,
and say
right.
you can't come in.
Right.
So
yeah.
I think that's probably more of a threat, but they could always, freeze our accounts, I guess,
Sure, yeah,
and
yeah.
say, well, you're not going to be able to pay anybody, and so that would be an issue.
Are you still getting the check when you need it from the state? It's a little late, isn't it?
Yeah, we're still playing that game. Our fiscal year ends on Friday, but we don't get our check till next Friday,
Yeah.
and so then we got to receipt it back. So we break about every accounting law that can be
Sure,
broken,
yeah.
but that's coming from Topeka.
Yeah,
That's what
and
they're
then-
telling us to do.
Then you break out, and then the auditor comes through and says, "Hey, you can't do this." They say, "Well, go to Topeka."
That's exactly right.
Right on the
Exactly.
money situation, So, and then there's a lot of talk about the Constitution. Does the Constitution really? And I've tried to. Does the Constitution really mention schools in it and
It
everything?
says suitable education.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So
What-
that
what's
interpretation
yeah.
is the whole thing. Isn't it?
What's the suitable education?
Yeah.
What you think is a suitable education, what I think is suitable
Yeah.
education could be two different things. I hope they don't go there. I
Yeah.
don't want to see that. I think that's a political action. Again, educators don't want to see everything else suffer, and there's been more than education suffering. I mean, our social services and those kind of things.
Right.
We've already mentioned the highways.
Yeah.
You need to take care, and those legislators have a tough job because
Yeah.
there's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle.
Okay.
But we, as educators, we feel like we're the future,
Okay.
and if we can do a good job for our kids, then we'll do a good job down the line.
Right, and there's talk about a constitutional amendment, and you say it's political or do something about and the politicians are starting to jump on this now. They were on it right away after some didn't like what the justices said, and other ones said that's all politics, and there's an election coming up there. So,
Sure.
Okay, so all right, so we're just kind of wait and see what happens. I did invite Ken Rogers to come on this morning. He was out of town, so he couldn't come on, and I kind of wanted to get. But it looks like for the most part, with the new legislature after the last election, things kind of really changed a little bit. And,
Seemed like they were more willing to compromise,
So,
and I hope that continues. But again, with the election coming, if we get a new governor, I mean, it could swing
Sure.
pretty quickly. So, and unfortunately, it's not just Kansas. It seems like it's kind of the way of the world right now. What happened to disagreeing? That doesn't. Now we attack each other.
I know.
And that's what made this country great was, you and I can have a
Compromise, yeah.
debate and
Yeah.
then compromise, and now it's like, no compromise. I'm either clear over here or clear to the
yeah,
left or clear to the right,
yeah,
and
right,
we need
and I agree.
we need to do a better job of that.
And I know who said
nationwide.
it. One of my favorite sayings is the guy says, "I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight to the death your right to say it."
That's right.
Which is that. I mean, that's
Yes.
bottom line.
Good point.
That's bottom line.
point.
That you have a
We
right
can
to say.
disagree. We don't have
Sure.
to hate each other,
Yeah, I know.
And
Yeah.
now it's like social media and all those kind of things.
Oh.
Now I'm going to get on Facebook and badmouth you because you don't
Yeah,
you
geez.
disagree with me, and
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
that's unfortunate.
All right. Anything else? I drive by the school all the time, the high school, and then see the work going on out there.
Are you going to offer to help them?
Not days like today. I don't know. Did they work at 3 in the afternoon on days like today?
Yeah, they've been working through. They're just about to finish it
Okay.
up, so almost complete with the high school roof. We also sanded down the high school gym, Chuck Newland gym, the gym floor there, and repainted that, and so that's looking good. At the middle school, the main thing I guess the public would see is we'll be putting in some new sidewalk in front of the middle school. And then at the elementary school, I don't know if you remember, but like last spring, we had some water damage.
Yeah,
We had
right.
a water leak. And so we had to have a company come in and do some asbestos removal as far as, because we were going to put in some new flooring.
Sure.
So they took that all back down to the concrete, and then we're getting ready to start on that flooring probably next week. So.
Okay, yeah.
So all new flooring in most of the rooms downstairs at the elementary school, then the sidewalk at the middle school, and then the roof and gym floor at the high school. And
Okay.
most of those are complete or are getting ready to begin here pretty quick.
Does that come out of capital outlay?
That is capital outlay
Okay,
money.
okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
So-
nice to have that in there.
It is. It
when
is.
something
It
comes up.
is. We kind of got long range plans. We almost have all of the roofs completed in the past 10 years. We've got a couple of sections at the middle school and a couple of sections at the high school, and that's kind of on the agenda for next year.
Did you do the whole roof of the high school?
No, just what we
classrooms?
refer to the circle part,
Yeah.
the north parts. No, couldn't afford to do all of that. We kind of do that in parts out there at the high school.
Well, this is quite a production they've got going out there. Though.
Yeah,
It really-
yeah, they've worked hard.
You know, and
Some rough days
yeah.
too.
Sanding the floor again. You have to do that about how often you have to
Well, that was the original floor. You know, in the 1960s, we replaced that. I'm going to get the wrong date, but I think
What?
about 2005.
Well, they sanded it so many
Yeah,
times
yep,
that it was down
yeah,
to the
down to the nails.
Yeah, right.
And so put a whole new floor in, and then now it was starting to cup a little bit, and so we sanded it down, and of course when you do that, you've got to repaint, and
Yeah.
so we put I guess the difference you'll see, we put a Panther at mid-court.
Okay, all right.
So
yeah,
that
sure.
so that'll be a little bit different for the public will see that,
Okay.
but.
Anything else going on?
No, that's the
Been a
the
good
main
summer
thing.
so far?
So far, so good. We got a really good janitorial staff, and they're working hard in some extreme temperatures. But
Oh, yeah.
we're we're getting there.
Well, it's great to have the school and things going along well, and all your positions filled and everything.
We're still looking for a high school Spanish teacher, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. So we may have to do something we haven't done, and that's look at some online options.
Really? Okay.
Which we're not overly excited about, but it's difficult to fill positions, and we got on everything pretty early, but that one came open late, and there's just not a lot of people out
Sure,
there that are
sure.
willing to do that,
Yeah.
and if they are, they get snatched up from the urban
Sure,
areas
right,
where
yeah.
they can pay them a lot more.
yeah.
So we may look at some online options there.
I'm an old fogey. I don't believe in online.
Yeah,
I want a
understand.
teacher up there that I can ask a question.
Yeah.
And I want a teacher that can get. If I'm in trouble, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
That's old fashioned.
Oh, I agree with you. I like that too. But yeah, that'll come with its challenges. I mean,
Sure.
we'll have to have someone we'll have to have someone physically present in the
Sure,
room just
yeah.
to watch for
Yeah, things.
behaviors, and so it'll be different.
Sure.
But to be a Board of Regents scholar, you need to have 2 years of foreign language,
sure.
and we've got to be able to offer that
Sure.
for our kids because we want them to have all those opportunities. So,
Yeah.
so I haven't given up yet. We're still
Okay,
looking,
sure.
but you're probably not going to have anybody fall out of the sky.
Does it have to be
in
Spanish
July.
or can it be
You
French?
could offer a
And
different
it's-
subject, but Spanish has become more popular just because of how many
Well,
Spanish-speaking
sure, right,
people
that
are in
makes
the
sense.
United States. Even if you want to be an educator, if you can speak Spanish, that really opens your options.
Way back when, they had Latin. And Latin, and what is that? Well, they always said that's the basis of all language is Latin, but that never made sense to me because, and I wish I had taken the language. I did not. Then it wasn't required, and it wasn't. I think we had 1 year of Spanish, and that was it, and that goes way back.
You now they want 2 years, but you're correct. It does not have to be Spanish.
Yeah.
It could be a different language, but
so.
those are normally even harder to find.
So, for sure. And this makes sense, Spanish, because that's because of the population and everything.
Correct.
Make it so. Okay, very good. Well, is capers all right?
Well,
I won't put you on.
that they tend to kind of rob that a little bit.
I know they
too.
do. I know that. Yeah.
I guess you could call it the Bank of Capers now instead of the Bank of KDOT.
I know it, but they reinvested and stuff. I don't know. I hear pros and cons on how that's coming along.
That's usually you could liken that to Social Security.
Sure.
They like to rob those funds, and so it's not where it needs to be by any means. But is it better? Sure. But they come up with a plan and they'll say, okay, it'll be solvent by such and such a date. Well, then when they need money, let's dip out of there, and now all of a sudden that date gets pushed back. But
I just appreciate you coming on and sharing
Thanks for having me.
What's going on.
Thanks for having me.
And this is Supreme Court and issue, but that seems about the only thing the education involved in right now, isn't it?
Yeah, and it, like I said, hopefully that's coming to a close. I mean, obviously we're going to continue to fight for schools, but we hope that that's coming to a head. So, it kind of changes our summer. I mean, the gals that work with me there in the office, Jan and Angela and I, we close the fiscal year here, and then we begin to work on next year's budget. Well, when they can't make up their mind what they're going to do, that gets pushed back, and the next thing you know, school's starting, and we haven't set the budget yet, and so that really happened last year. I mean, we were in August before we were getting that complete. We're kind of hoping now with this decision that we can get started on that a little earlier, but we hope that's come to a head. We hope that we don't have a big flip this November and have to start over again.
I know, yes.
But we shall see. Again, like I said, I hope whoever's in power, we can promote some compromise.
I think
let's meet in the middle somewhere.
And Bob Dole was great on that. I mean, you hear
exactly
that he was great. They got together and talked.
Yep.
Instead of shouting at each other on the internet. And
yes,
stuff like
exactly.
That. Okay.
Exactly.
Mike, well, you have a good rest of the summer.
Right, thank you.
Hope you get your roof fixed and
All right.
everything else down. And down the road, we'll call on you again as they close the school time. Thank you, Mike.
All right, I appreciate it.
Mike Gowerman. Kind of filling us in a little bit, and then we might get the legislature story. Next week, Ken's already promised to be on, or maybe we can go to get Elaine Bowers to come on, the senator from the area. Reminder of the program also brought to you by Phillips County Health Systems, also by Olive Bowl Memorial Chapel, Stephen E. Rush, your State Farm agent, Sonic Drive-In, like us on Facebook to see their Sonic deals, Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street, where the roads are paved with opportunity, Farmers Ranchers Outlet, and J&R Highback are there. All right. Thanks for coming over this morning.
Good morning.
I thought you might bring the mayor, didn't you?
Well, he didn't volunteer.
Okay. We're talking about, do we have the other part of Sunday out there yet?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk with them, but that comes before your thing. We're talking about Prairie View. What's going on in Prairie View Sunday evening?
Sunday evening, July 1st, we're going to have food, fun, and fireworks.
Okay. So what's going to be happening over there?
Well, at 7 o'clock, we'll start serving hot dogs and s'mores and chips and drinks.
Okay.
And it's all free. However,
that was my next question.
We will have a
the
donation box out.
Free hot dogs and s'mores and chips.
Yes.
All right, okay.
They have to cook their own. No, we'll have 4 or 5 fire pits.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's neat. Fix your own. All right, okay.
So We started this about 5 years ago, kind of accidentally, and it keeps growing a little bit.
Well, that's
so-
great. But you will don't have to bring the cookers, just their appetite, right?
Nope, that's right. As
Okay.
long as about 250 hot dogs last.
Wow.
So.
Okay. And that starts around 7.
7, we'll start with the food, and
Mm-hmm.
about 9 o'clock, we'll shut off the food and start with a few kids, sparklers and parachutes.
Sure,
and
right.
And then when it gets dark enough, they'll let off the big stuff.
Wow.
So.
You're gonna have some of the things go up and people
Well, they go
"Oh,"
up
and
pretty
all
high.
about, you know.
It's not a Logan Labor Day celebration.
Sure, I
this
understand.
caliber, but
I
it's
understand that.
it's pretty good for
Yeah. Okay.
a little
What-
town.
Is it funded by donations or
Mostly, yes.
or
yes.
do people just
It's-
show up?
Yeah.
Okay. Do people show up with their own things, or do you discourage
No,
that?
actually, they
yeah.
can bring some of their small stuff if they want to set it off in the middle
you're
there.
going to take care of the.
Yeah, the city buys the fireworks,
Okay.
and we are fortunate enough to have sponsors local sponsors
Sure.
that help us pay for
That's
it.
a great idea to
Yeah,
do
yes.
that, and then so where will it be?
It will be at the old school grounds.
Okay.
There's a big. It's just. If they don't know, just come in on Holland Street and they'll see
To
where the
your right,
activity
right,
is.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, what's this? I had someone on one time about the school.
Yes.
What's happening on the school?
Well, the school is buried.
Yeah, it is. Okay,
It's gone.
it's
It's
gone
gone.
now.
Yes, it was in bad repair, so it's buried.
But some of the bricks and everything were saved.
Yes,
weren't they?
we've salvaged the bricks and the name of the school off the front, and
Uh-huh.
we're going to build the monument, and you'll be able to see. The flags are out for it, but
Sure.
on the school grounds.
Did
so.
you go to that school?
No, I didn't.
okay, you didn't
I
go to the-
didn't. No, I went to
No,
Long Island. So. My husband did, so graduated there.
Okay, so everyone's invited to just
Yes.
come over to
Yes.
Prairie View, 7 o'clock. What you can do, you can go over the celebration day.
That's right, they
And then
can.
just after that, just go
Come
on through Phillipsburg
yes,
on 36 and go over to
yes,
Prairie View
yes,
and do that.
yeah.
Make a really big night out of it.
Yeah, some people just come for the fireworks, but
Sure.
you're welcome to come and
Well,
eat too.
well.
And we hope to have one of Anna's story walks set up there
Oh,
too.
okay,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so
That's neat. I was over at Agra the other day, and they have theirs around the lake.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about the books, but you can read and share. And then also the Agra and of course around the school.
Yes.
And you have yours out.
We have one in the park right now,
Wow.
but the next one will be on the school grounds.
That's great.
But you'll have to
Okay.
come. There's no shade or anything, so you'll have to come on in the
Sure.
evening or morning to
Well,
read it.
yep,
But they
and
can go through it.
Come out and
Sunday
watch
night.
watch the fireworks and just have a good night and
Yes.
let someone else
Yes.
bring their kids and they can have their little sparklers and.
Yeah, that's right.
And parachute.
That's
My
right.
favorite thing is bottle rockets. I don't think you can even buy
I
those.
don't. Yeah, I'm not
Bot-
supposed to.
I know. Yeah, that's not. I love bottle rockets.
The kids love the parachutes the
Sure,
most because
yeah,
they
sure.
chase those down.
Well, it
but-
gives you something after it comes down, and they can
Yeah,
take it home
yeah,
and throw it
yeah.
and play with
Yeah.
it.
yeah. So.
Well, everything else going well at Prairie View?
Yes, I think so. We're
Okay.
just the first harvest trucks came in yesterday.
Oh,
so,
you did? Okay.
Yeah, so
Do you know how
Yes.
how it did?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But
I know.
I did see some trucks coming
All
in.
right.
so
Well, very good. All
it's-
right. Well, we
yeah.
hope that I'll see you Sunday night.
Okay.
I'll be over there.
Sounds good.
'Cause and I'll be over early for the hot dog.
Okay, good deal.
Thanks for
All
coming
right.
on this
Thank
morning.
you.
Sure. Had quarter with us this morning talking about Prairie View, and of course that's Sunday night. It's not the 4th. The 4th of July, Agra will be having their decoration day around the lake. And you're invited. They'll be cooking over there and everything. So that's an opportunity for you to enjoy what's going on. Okay, what do we have coming on this morning here? Come on back. And what we're going to talk about, one nation under God. Okay, we have with us this morning Carrie.
Yes.
Hi there.
Good
and
morning,
also
Tad.
with, hi, and Leanne.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for coming over. I have been over. I was out of town last 4th of July. I was down in Houston. I went to did quite a thing down there. But anyway, I have attended several. I don't know how many. It's a great. How many?
This is our 12th year.
Wow, it's really great. And we're talking about it's a patriotic event. Who wants to go start first with this? What's going to be happening, Leanne?
Like I said, this is our 12th year that we have done our One Nation Under God program over at Heartland Worship Center. And every year we have a different focus, a different theme that we use, but every year our main hope is the same, and that's to honor all of our area veterans of the community and their families. And we would just like to invite anyone to come out. But if you're an area veteran, would you please come and help us
Sure.
eat our delicious meal at 5:30? We have a free meal that Paula and Nick Haskett always do, and we'd just like you to come and join us for that. And then anyone can come to the program at 7 o'clock, and we have watermelon afterwards. So great evening.
And it's free to anyone who comes. The program, there's no charge, and it's several months in the design of it.
You mentioned free. Is that just for veterans or
No,
anyone
it's free
shows up?
to anyone.
Anyone who
meal
shows
is
up.
for
Okay.
Yes, the meal is for the veterans and their families, but the program is for anyone, and it's all
okay.
free.
Sure. Okay. And that's a 7. What does after everyone's had a nice meal and everything? Then what's your program consist of?
This
Songs,
year, yes, this year is One Nation Under God We Remember, because our program focuses on the fact that 2018 is the 100th anniversary of Veterans Day. So we are
Right.
focusing on We Remember World War I, because Armistice Day was commemorating the end of World
Right.
War I, and then Woodrow Wilson changed it to Veterans Day so that it would honor all veterans of all foreign wars. So this year we are focusing on World War I. Do you want to talk about some of the things in World War I we're going to highlight?
Yes. One of the items is In Flanders Field. That's the poem that became famous during
Right,
World War I.
right.
And it's all about the poppies that are always given during Veterans Day to our veterans and the service members. And it just is in commemorative of the In Flanders Field poem
Sure.
written about where his cousin was buried. And also the blue star in the windows to commemorate someone having a child in the service. We'll be talking about that in detail, as well as a video being shown about that. And we just truly want to honor our vets for all that they have done for us, our freedoms that, just talking on the radio, our freedom that we can have because they served.
Sure.
And we just want to honor them for that.
Public TV had it on World War I. Great this week.
Oh.
And it was a rerun. I'd watched it the first time around. World War I was not a popular war in the United States. A lot of people they wanted to stay out of it, and we got into it. And when we got into it, well, it didn't last very long. And we got our men over there and women, and but it was a tough thing. And I remember, I remember when I was in school, and now this goes back the 40s and 50s when I was in school. The 11th day, the 11th month. And we would get out, they would have an assembly, and at 11 o'clock, the assembly would be held at 11, and after that, they let us out of school the rest of the day. And it was because of that. And of course, it's the 100th anniversary of that coming up here in November.
Yes. And Woodrow Wilson, our president at the time, did not want us to go to war.
I know that, yeah.
He tried to keep us at peace, but it just didn't fly. We had to enter
Well,
the
they kept
war.
sinking our ships,
That's
and
right.
they kept doing that. And,
Yes.
after a while, you don't turn the other cheek. You
Right.
got to do something.
Well, and part of our program this year, we're going to have someone play as Woodrow Wilson, and he's going to read the
Oh,
speech
yes.
that Woodrow
Wow.
Wilson gave to Congress, saying, "Hey, we've got to enter this war. We have
He changed. Oh, he was very much anti there in the
Yes.
beginning, and that PBS program brought that out too, the aspects of that. So
Well, one thing that our program likes to do every year is we like to teach people now of the history of our veterans and what they have faced, and that is one of the items that we are really concentrating on this year is how and why we got into the war and how long it lasted
Sure.
and
That's
what
good,
our
that's good,
troops
yeah.
have gone through. and what they still go through today.
Yeah.
You would think that going through school, we would remember all of our American history, but one of the best things about writing this script every year is that we remember, and that is what we hope to share with the community,
Sure.
is how important it is to remember our history.
And I think a lot of the Second World War is lost. I grew up during the second, so I remember. But my grandkids, that was World War II, and that's about it. They know the Vietnam and over there now, what's happening.
Well, next year, one of the items that I keep remembering is next year will be the anniversary of when the Berlin Wall came down. So
Yeah.
that'll be more
That
World
was
War
big,
II.
that was very important, all that. So do you have a song?
Oh, yes, there will be many songs.
Many songs. We have about 9 songs that we'll
Really?
do. And
Patriotic songs?
Oh,
or,
yes, and every year our children are also involved. So the setup of the program, some things remain the same. We always do the salute to the armed forces, have the veterans stand, and our children will give them a little token of our appreciation.
Wow.
We always have, of course, Star Spangled Banner. We always have the Mansions of the Lord, which honors veterans who have passed away. But then there are at least 6 new songs, and our choir is more than ready to deliver those. So.
You mentioned the window. The Blue Star
Blue
had
Star
some, a Gold Star. They died, right?
Yes.
Right.
They'd been
Yes.
killed in
Right.
action or
They
something.
put a border around it,
Yeah.
I think, once that
Okay,
they.
yeah, and that was.
And that is
so-
in the program itself.
Okay,
They
good.
read the
All right.
history
Wow.
of that.
Well, I'd recommend it because I've attended several, and it gets you in the spirit for what we've got here in
Yes.
this country, okay, so at 5:30, veterans and their families can come to the meal, and then at 7, everyone can
Correct.
show up and
Sure.
and
And then afterward, there's always food left, and so anyone is welcome to come fellowship afterward, and then watermelon for
Watermelon,
everyone.
okay.
Served by our
Gotta have the
members.
watermelon.
Yeah.
And then, either one of you know anything about the fireworks? I invited several people over. They didn't want to come over.
She was
about
telling
your
us
fireworks
out in the
Wednesday night.
library, or
Right,
out in the lobby, I mean.
Right. Okay. What's happening? You know what's happening Wednesday night then at the lake?
No?
Oh, you don't?
We
Okay.
thought you were talking about Gloria,
No, that's over at Prairie
Prairie
View.
View.
Wednesday night at Agra, around the lake, they're having fireworks.
Oh, I missed that.
I thought maybe. No, I invited several people to come over, and they were busy. They couldn't. I told them I'd mention it.
Okay.
So they're gonna have food over there too. That's Wednesday night,
Okay.
and so I'd recommend that. Go watch the
Well,
fireworks.
great. We
I don't
can
know whether
get
food's
everybody
free or
going
not.
everywhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good. After this week, you better really be patriotic.
Yes.
We go things going. Well, I think it's great that each. How do you determine each year what your theme is?
It's just a collaboration between Leanne and I and
Okay.
others, and what has happened in the
Do
past.
you have some new songs? You say?
Oh, yes.
yes,
At
every
least
year.
6.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Are you going to sing? Let me see. Yes. God Bless America.
I don't think
I
that
don't
one's in there
Really?
this year.
Okay. Star
This year
Spangled
our
Banner?
program had,
Yes,
of course, Star
Star
Spangled
Spangled
Banner. This
Okay.
year our program it has a lot of songs that I would say are a mashup. They've got a traditional song like America the Beautiful or
Oh,
Battle Hymn of the Republic
okay.
with a new song like God of Angel Armies, or
Okay, all right,
a lot of them
okay.
are familiar with
Sure.
unfamiliar.
Sure.
So
Okay. All right.
So it mashes them together, and it's really, really neat the way that they've arranged
Sure.
the music.
Anything else, Leanne? Do you have on there? You want to
I think
recover everything?
we're ready. I think
Okay.
we are excited and ready to minister
I
to our
recommend
veterans.
it.
So
If it's Sunday night, just come over there. If you're a veteran, be there at 5:30 with your family for the meal. If not, 7 o'clock, and
And
hear
we
the
are
new songs and watermelon. What?
And we are located right on the highway,
Right.
just a mile this side of Agra, and just more than welcome to come, anyone.
Just before you turn and go north there on the west by the cemetery. It's just
Right.
a little west. Can't miss it. That's where all the other
Right
bus,
up on the hill.
The bus there. There's a bus there, and where all the cars are.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thanks for coming on. We hope
Thanks
that,
for having
much,
us.
Tess.
you have a good crowd.
all right.
All right, this morning with us, Carrie and Leanne, and we're moving along here. I think we have our final guests out there. All right, and we're going to get Andy in here in a moment. Let's talk about. Oh, we're always glad. Iowa Hawkeyes I'm going to have to ask you, Andy, about that. Just a moment reminder that other sponsors making the program possible include First National Bank and Trust, proudly supporting Panther Athletics. From our sales floor to your delivery door, come see Jim and Terry at Olive Bowie Furniture and Appliance, where we provide gracious living for less. Professional family eye care. See Dr. Juneman for all of your eye care needs. He's working on, if you have diabetes, go in and have your eyes checked on that to see how you're doing on that. Coombs Trucking, you call, we haul. Wyman Firestone Tire Sales and Service back at Youth of Phillips County, and Biggs Insurance for all of your auto, home, business, and farm insurance needs. How's the summer going?
Oh, it's going by fast, Tad.
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I had a chance to see out. You were busy at the swim meet.
Oh, yeah.
Really out there. We were out there, doing and a lot of things going on. That's great to have something like that in the summertime. How did you get involved in that?
Wyatt and Shelley and Conrad and Deb Weisar asked me.
Mm-hmm.
This is my third year helping.
Okay.
They asked if I would come help, and I was like, something to do and watch the kids during the summer.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what's the Iowa Hawkeyes?
I'm a big Iowa wrestling fan.
Okay, well,
And-
that makes sense.
Right.
Iowa and Oklahoma are the wrestling schools, aren't they? Are they
Yeah.
still that way?
Yeah, pretty much.
Iowa and Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Penn State
Penn State.
is a big
really?
one now.
Okay.
Plus, I knew Dr. Juneman was a sponsor of this.
Oh,
and that way it's a little rub in his face, Big Ten school, Iowa. He was Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I hope Ron's watching, or I guarantee you hear about this. Okay,
That's
all
right.
Reason why we wanted you to come on to talk about your camp. What's going to be happening?
We're going to have a fundamental wrestling camp July 12th and 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And basically we go over, just the fundamentals, takedowns, shot defense, top and bottom position. It's kind of a fundraiser for our high school wrestling team.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes something a little bit extra that we might want for the room. So it's a good way, and the high school boys help out. And then, so we have 2 sessions on Thursday. One in the morning, let me get my cheat sheet here, from 10:30 to 12:15. And then that afternoon also from 1:30 to 3:30. And then Friday we have a morning session from 9:30 to 11:30. And then that night.
That's what I wanted to ask you about that.
Before, in the past, we've done it on the tennis courts.
Mm-hmm.
And we go out there about, we start about 8:30 warm up. We start wrestling about 9 and do a takedown tournament. And Coach Bursch brought up this idea. He's like, we should see if we could have it on the street. And so I talked to Mr. Driggs up at the city office, and he gave us the okay. And we're going to put the mats out right in front of Ace.
On the bricks, right?
Yeah, so a little rumble on the bricks, and it's pretty popular now with international wrestling.
Sure.
They do it in Times
yeah.
Square and
Yeah.
New York City, all that kind of stuff. And so we thought, hey, why not? So get people to come out and watch the kids, and hopefully it's not too hot.
Yeah.
So hopefully at 9 o'clock it'll be down to like 80 or 90.
I talked to Tim last night. I said, on the bricks, I said, you're putting mats down. I said, yeah, you got to put the mats down. And then that's a great idea. People can show up, bring their lawn chairs, and just watching what's going on there. What's your age group?
Our camp is from the ages of, first grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
And they still have time to sign up. You can get a hold of me. I have it on Phillipsburg High School Facebook page, and also Rachel put it on My Phillips County Online.
Okay.
Or you can contact me or Joe Bursch.
Mm-hmm.
We're usually out the high school in the morning at the weight room. You come out there. The T-shirt deadline is already over because I had to get them, so we get them made in time. But you can still sign up and come on in. So.
Come on, and that helps do some things. You say, I tell you, the most amazing thing is you get out there on a busy day in that room, and everyone in the weight room in the summertime. I mean, that is really something watching all the athletes work on. And it's not just for wrestling; it's for any athlete and football.
Right.
Football coming up and everything. Yeah. Would you like in the morning? Is it for younger kids, or they all come?
It's all at one time.
Okay.
We have it over at the Armory,
Mm-hmm.
and then we kind of show the moves, and then we split them up a little bit.
Okay.
So, like the younger kids, they might not get the most advanced of it, but we give them the portion that they understand,
Sure.
and they
Mhm.
can do a little bit better.
We'll give them when they're doing the wrestling, and then what time when the sun goes down, there will be a little cooler down on Friday.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that the 12th? You say
The 13th would be
13th.
that Friday.
13th that Friday night, and so don't go down at 7. And 7 is probably still warm yet. Isn't it?
Yeah. We usually don't start that wrestling till about 9
Okay,
p.m.
okay, all right.
So, if people come down around 8:30,
Yeah.
usually we get there about 8:30, 8:40-ish and start warming up, and then they'll have a takedown tournament, so we kind of
Okay.
pair them up.
Okay, so it's a real tournament. You take someone down, you advance. Is that how that works?
Yeah,
Or-
we usually go like 2 1-minute periods,
Okay.
and so they'll wrestle for a minute, and then they
Yeah.
will, advance and go from there.
We have time. I think the mayor wants to come on.
Oh yeah,
Okay, yeah, we're gonna get the mayor on here on Tuesday. so-
boy.
Oh, not the mayor, someone else. Okay, all right. But the mayor, he's the one that came in and opened the door. So we listen to what the mayor says. Okay,
Yeah, there
so
we go.
and then the next day, some of them are going to go to Topeka.
Yeah, they have the Sunflower State Games
Wow.
down there. So
Yeah.
I think some of them are going down. I know the Driggs boys, the 3 Driggs boys, are going to
Yeah,
go down, and I think Buck Driggs, Tim's brother, I think
Yeah.
he's bringing a couple of his boys down.
Okay.
And then they're going to go down and wrestle at the Sunflower State
well,
Games.
that's good. So what else do you have going on this summer?
Just busy with the weight room.
Yeah, you got your floor refinished. I had Mike on telling about your floor refinish there.
Yeah, it looks really nice. People that came in and did that, and it really brightened it up.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able, with rule changes and stuff. Now we put the Panther head logo in the middle of the basketball court,
Yeah,
so
right, yeah.
it looks really sharp. I think it's going to be nice.
Okay, so if they've been out there once they get they're involved in the wrestling from grade 1 through 12, right?
Right.
And they haven't registered yet. They contact. What's the easiest way? Just
Usually contact me on my cell phone,
Okay, what's your
and
number?
that's 785-302-1198.
okay.
Yeah.
302-1198 and get them involved in the camp and you say there's a charge. What is that?
Yeah, it's $30.
Okay.
So and there's a little waiver form. Even that day, if you come into the Armory that morning, I'll have some extra sheets there. And if you didn't get a hold of me or something and you want to do it there, you can sign up that day and just pay your entry and sign
Okay,
your waiver
sure.
form. And
Yeah.
that way we can get
Okay,
your
all
youngster in. And it's open to boys and girls.
Okay.
Girls wrestling has become very popular.
Yeah.
And the state of Kansas is a lot of the wrestling coaches are trying to get it sanctioned as a girls' sport.
It's a girls' sport. Okay.
Right. So,
And I have seen the girl wrestlers can handle some of them. Can handle their own.
Yeah.
If they could get that much of interest in it, make it a girls' sport there, so it'd be
Right.
They'd have state and all that. That's a
yeah,
great idea.
they have an unsanctioned state. It's at McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like before high school regionals.
Okay.
So, the McPherson coach really brought that out. His daughter loved the sport of wrestling.
Okay, yeah.
And so it kind of went from there.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, we hope a lot of people show up and that you have a good on the bricks. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
coming
You'll have to
down.
come out and watch, Tad.
I sure will. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. I don't know who we have coming up next. I don't know if the mayor's coming on. I would like to get the mayor on a minute if he's out there, if he's still out there. I don't know. Is the mayor? Does the mayor want to come on? No. Oh, okay, Brett. We get Brett on here. All right. Okay. All right. I want to talk. Thanks for coming on.
You bet, Ted. Thank you.
Yeah. I thought maybe I saw the mayor stuck his head in on, but you're just as good there. So let's talk about the time is getting short on the CDBGs. How are we
Yes.
coming on that? Now,
I just received an email from Brenda where we still need 182.
okay. By
So-
tomorrow?
No, I think next Tuesday.
Okay.
So, there's gonna be several people probably out and about
Mm-hmm.
to get things cleaned up. I just want to remind everybody that if we do get this survey done and we qualify, we can receive up to 600,000 per year for like 4 years. So
That's
it's huge.
$2,400,000
Yeah.
that the city can use
Yeah.
for stuff.
And right now we're looking at Quan's Reservoir, Quan's Reservoir down there. It is like $900,000, and we have to do it. So it's either we find some of this grant money, or the taxpayers are going to pay for it. So
And it's grant money.
yeah.
You talk to people about taxes aren't going to go up because of the CDBG.
No, they've already budgeted.
Right. And I talked with someone who went door to door this week. I think at 18, everyone except there were 2 weren't home.
Right.
Or didn't answer the door.
Right.
But everyone else, they're glad to do it. So I think it's still an education process. I think.
It's of course, nobody likes people coming door to door.
Sure.
I don't like it myself, but I just want people to understand the value of this. I mean, just even the 900,000, you think we've got roughly 1,300 water meters.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's going to be a huge impact.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we've got other, everything that's mechanical wears out. We've just got upcoming maintenance and everything, and it this year it'll probably it will go towards Quan's Reservoir, and then next year, we may have another something we need to upgrade,
Sure, yeah.
or work on. But yeah, it's really important that people fill these out. It's the information is. It's kind of generic. I mean, you don't have to flat come out and tell exactly what you make and all that. It's just in groups, and nobody sees it.
Sure.
And
the reason why they're asking this is so see if the city qualifies as a low to modern income.
Correct.
Is that
Correct.
why? That's why the ask is the salary's not going to be printed.
No,
And the paper's
it's
not
just,
going to go, on the internet or anything like that.
you have to, it's so many. If you have so much percentage of low to moderate income, is what it is. So nobody sees it. Nobody. I mean, we just compile them, and then the state looks at them,
you was it Pretty Prairie that. And they had a mistake, and they didn't get it because. So they might come back and audit.
They will probably audit. I don't understand that part of the process as well as I should. I know Brenda takes care of all that, but I mean, I don't think they just take our word for it. They will go ahead and do an audit to make sure that
take
we
a
qualify.
name and call and say, "Did you fill that out?"
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that put in for this money. I mean, it's it's a grant, and so
it's not free money. Well, it is to the city,
right?
But not.
Right.
Eventually, it's coming from somewhere.
It comes from taxpayers' funds somewhere, somehow, but
it's free to the city.
It's free to us, yes.
And you can do pretty much what you want. You have to tell them.
Yeah.
And now, Quan's Reservoir, question. If the city doesn't get that fixed, does that create a water storage? Really creates a water storage problem, does it? Or?
It could if something broke down. Basically, it's just deteriorated. I mean, it's been put in. I don't know how many years ago, 60 plus.
Was that for the refinery? Was that
Yeah, I think so. I've went down and looked at it. I mean, the state has been warning us for years that it's coming. Yeah. And finally, this last time they came out, they wrote us up and said, you need to get it replaced, and you don't have to do it immediately. They give you a little bit of time, but
it's got to be done.
It's got to be done.
Okay.
So.
And that $600,000 would sure help.
Right. Yeah. We had a few options. We could eliminate it and then use the other reservoir, but if something happened to it, then we have water.
Yeah.
We have problems getting water to town. So the council decided that replacement would be the best. That way we've got backup. We've got two. You know, we can pump directly from Quans as well. So
Okay. Oh yeah, sure.
another thing that's going on around the square, I'm sure people have seen the city workers replacing curbs.
Yeah, that looked good over on the
Yeah,
east
they're
side.
doing
I
an
looked at that
excellent
the
job.
other
They,
day. Yeah.
I seen they poured what they had knocked out this in the last 2 or 3 days. They poured it this morning, and we're finishing it up.
Right,
So,
Now that looks good. That's a good project. That's all, and that costs money.
and that costs money. Yeah,
And
And
so,
that-
which brings us mind the next thing. And again, get the information right, people out there. The sales
sales
tax.
tax. Okay, the sales tax. The city is retiring the sewer bond.
And that way ahead of time, right? We
Right,
saved a lot
4
of money.
years, 4 years.
The city saved a lot of money
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
on money coming in with the sales tax. And,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. We retired it early. Well, it's in the process.
Yeah.
And what we are asking is that when it comes time to vote, you vote that half-cent sales tax back for streets and infrastructure improvements, capital improvements. So basically, the sales tax would stay the same.
Right.
It's not going up a half cent.
Yeah, then
It's
that's
staying
for the-
exactly the same.
That's where the information is. Our sales tax, no, it's not. It's just going to replace.
It's just going to replace,
Replace
right?
it.
We're going to retire one and replace it with another. So
Sure.
it's basically a wash,
Yeah,
is what
sure,
it is.
Right.
And then along with streets goes curb and gutter. If you drive around and look, you'll see a lot of them that need replaced really
Sure,
bad.
yeah.
But we just don't have the funding. It's as simple as that. When I started on the council years ago, we used to seal the streets every 4 years.
Right,
It was
yeah.
on a 4-year rotation. Well, then things get higher and higher, and then we moved it to 5, and then we moved it to 6, and then there were some years we didn't have money to do any.
Yeah.
And so it's a simple fact. If we don't keep on these streets, it's going to become a monster.
And you've seen works have been done this year with the tar
Yes,
and
yeah.
the cracks. And
Yeah,
everything.
they crack sealed all of the north side of town, and we'd intended on putting some sealer on there. It's the black, like you painted it black.
Sure.
Onyx is what it's called. We're having trouble getting them here. We was hoping we could show the citizens exactly what it looked like when we were done,
Right,
but
yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. We tried, but I don't know. I think it was just to seal the streets, and I'm going by memory here. 15 blocks was like $35,000
Yeah.
just for the material. That's not,
Yeah.
of course, labor, but
Yeah. Was it going to be by city labor? Or would it have been,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it would have, the product would have had to be bought, but the
right.
city
and,
labor would be.
and the
in
way I understand it, I think they also bring the machine and they lay it, but we have to get it clean.
Sure,
You have to
sure,
get it cleaned
right,
up. You
yeah,
can't,
okay.
So
Okay, and you're going to have a meeting on that, right? Is there going to be a meeting? I
On-
talked to Tim on the sales tax.
yes, town hall.
Town
Yes,
hall meeting,
Yes,
yeah.
and that is the 23rd. I'm not mistaken. I didn't bring any notes. I'm
Yeah,
going
well,
by
I
memory,
talked to
so-
Tim last night about
Yeah.
it, and he said it's the 23rd.
Yeah,
You've got-
and we encourage everybody to show up. If you've got questions, show up. We'll be glad to give you, the answers. We're not trying to.
transparency's there,
Yeah, we're not trying to hide anything. And if you have other questions, feel free to come to the council meetings or whatever. But,
Sure, yeah.
we're trying to get the best value for the taxpayers. Everybody pays taxes. We're trying to get the best bang for our buck.
Sure. And people say, well, the taxes, you gotta, if you want services, you want roads, if you want
Yeah.
this, you want that,
Yeah.
if you want
Yeah.
water, if you want, you got to pay for
You
it.
gotta
it's
pay
not
for
that-
it.
you got to pay for it.
Well, and it's like years ago, we spent a lot of money down in the well field, in the water well field, and it was huge, And at the time, we thought, well, do we really want to spend this amount of money down here redoing all these wells and getting more water rights and everything? And then you look at the problem that Norton is having right now.
Yeah,
Well worth the money. What
sure.
we did.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And the water treatment plant. That
plant.
was a big.
That was a big expense.
But it's worked.
It works good. We've got good quality water. When it comes out of the ground, it's a little hard. That's the reason we soften it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I tell you, there's a lot of cities out here that have a lot worse water than we do.
I think La Crosse. Have you ever heard about La Crosse water? The other hard. I mean, you can't hardly. It won't hardly come out of the faucet. It's so hard down there.
And I remember working in Oberlin, and you could see all the sidewalks were kind of brown because they've been watering their grass. And it's so. And as we all know, water is becoming one of our greatest commodities.
That's going to be
our greatest resource.
I've always said. Ultimately, the world, a war will be about water.
Yep.
It's not going to be about petroleum or anything. Right. It's going to be about water.
It's going to be. We got to have water. And we have right now our well field's in great shape. Our in-town stuff, of course, everybody knows. They see the water leaks. Sure. We've got some issues. We've got some slated to be changed out this year. But
with the money from the grant come from
that would work to replace water lines in
and
town.
The sales tax
and the sales tax as well. Okay. So
get the story that it's not an additional 0.5%. It's just going to be washed out, be the same as it was. Only the city will be able to put it on. And I think there's great management showing and getting it paid off for 4 years.
We were really tickled about that when we heard that we were getting close to paying off the sewer bonds. And then I got to give a thank you to all the lending institutions, to letting us retire it early. Mm-hmm. They didn't have to.
Yeah, sure.
It was 25-year note or whatever it was.
You're right. Yeah.
So it cost them a little bit of money, and they did a great thing by letting the city retire it early. So.
All right, well, attend the meeting. If you have a question, see Brett on the street, say, Brett,
sure.
Clue me in on this.
Yeah, not a problem.
And if you have not filled out one of those surveys and they come around, fill it out. And
it only takes a few minutes.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not a conspiracy. I've heard that. It's not a conspiracy. The city wants this money, and they have, and to make them eligible, they have to have so many people do it.
And basically, if we get it, it's going to save you money on your water bill. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Sure. So. Okay. Very good, Matt.
Thanks,
you.
Ted.
How do you like being back on the council?
I like it. I really like it. We've changed the way we do things. Committees, of course, which. Seems like I have quite a few of those, but it seems like we're getting a lot more accomplished, and everybody's more engaged, on the council, and all our committees are working great. So
I've got to ask you one question: how do you like having the mic in front of you during the meeting?
They kind of pull it back away from me because, as you know, you can hear me pretty easy.
Okay, all right, fine. I think it's great, And
I do too. That way there's no question.
Again, transparency again.
If you have a question, just watch it.
Because through the years, I've heard so many things that the council did on Monday night. And I said, no, they didn't. I was at the meeting. No, I wouldn't even brought it up. Yeah, we heard it. No, they didn't. This way it gets it out.
There should be no reason why there's any misconstrued comment.
Brett, thanks a lot. Good job there. We'll see you.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Glad you stopped in. Yeah. All right, that's going to do it. We had a busy one and an informative one, I think, this morning. A couple of things to remind you. On a Sunday night, if you're a veteran, at 5:30, the One Nation Under God, it's the Heartland Worship Center just west of Agra. 5:30, there's a meal for your veterans and the family. At 7 is the program they have. It sounds great. Then after that, you can head over to Prairie View, and they're going to have fireworks over there. I think it's around 9 or 9:15, 9:30, whatever, as soon as it gets dark. And then Wednesday, they have fireworks at the Agra Lake at night. And they're going to have food there. I don't know whether it's going to be sold or free. I don't know that. And that's why I kind of wanted someone to come on this morning and talk about it. But there will be people out there with cookers, I think, maybe. I don't know. But make your plans on going over there Wednesday night to see the fireworks there. Of course, the Wizard of Oz, and the wrestling, and a lot of things going on that also. So it's a busy time of year. And we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next Thursday morning. We'll have Ken Rogers on for sure, talk about the legislatures. We'll also have on Justin Heinzen on football. Have him on. And Sarah Red will be back on with some more people to sing a song or two. So and by then, I'm sure other people will contact us to come on. So we'll see you then. You have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you next Thursday after the 4th of July. But be sure to take in all these things that make it possible to kind of help us celebrate our birthday, the country's birthday.